negative that Kamala Harris does have a weird laugh. I think it does turn people off to her. But I think it has zero value in a person going to the grocery store and trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills. So Donald Trump mentioning that is completely pointless. And I think it doesn't add any value. But I didn't listen to the full conversation, and I don't know if it was just a side note that he interjected. But I think the conversation needs to be focused more on policy and how we're going to turn around America and make it better for everybody that live here.
Okay, and Cenk, on this separate rising thing about white dudes backing Kamala Harris, do you feel entirely comfortable with this? We've actually got the actual dude saying it. Let's take a listen to him.
So, guys, we have here Cenk, Uygur, Destiny, and some conservatives who are on the Piers Morgan Show, of course, making the arguments about, the campaign and all of that, the arguments of, the DEI, she's black, the laugh, everything. Tatum, I have to at least say that he actually finally said something that I agree with, because I don't agree with a lot of these conservatives anymore, because a lot of them virtue signal for the military industrial complex when they don't maybe even realize that they're doing it, whatever. Anyway, Tatum saying that Trump needs to focus on what we need as Americans. We really need to hear these kind of things now, but unfortunately we don't from these campaigns. So that's why it is very disingenuous and disenchanting. But you also got to watch the way Destiny debates. He's a good debater because he knows how to have emotion. But let's go ahead and get into it.
I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. So that's what you call me.
I was brought to the party not so much as being white, and I certainly am, but because I'm a dude, So a friend sent me this email today with your hat on there, and I said, oh, I gotta have one of those. I qualify, man. I'm white, I'm a dude, and I'm for Harris.
Cenk, this white dude thing, do you feel comfortable with this?
No, I don't think it's good politics. And I don't think it's necessary at all. So let's stop playing identity politics. So Kamala Harris and the Democrats don't have to say, hey, you should vote for her because she's a black woman. Everybody already knows she's a black woman, so don't worry about it. You should let the Republicans play identity politics, and when they attack her for being a woman, which they can't help themselves, they do nonstop, then the Democrats gain. And when they attack her for being black, then the Democrats gain. So stop all this stuff about racial stuff from the Democratic side. Let the Republicans do it to their detriment.
Okay,
Republicans have never attacked her.
How worried? Okay, Officer Tatum, respond to that first, and then I'll come to Destiny.
No, I think it's superfluous conversations being had. The Republicans have never attacked her for being a woman. They attacked her because she's incompetent. And that's the argument that has been going on and on and on. She's an incompetent person. It doesn't matter if she's a woman. It doesn't matter if she's black. Nobody cares. The fact of the matter is she's a failing vice president. She's terrible. She was terrible when she ran for president. She's terrible as the vice president. She adds no value to the political realm. She has no conversations about what she can do to better America. The woman is just literally selected as the VP because she was a black woman.
He's right, because that is what they said. They said you have to take on a black woman. Like, this is not anything hard to understand. This is not anything hard to put together. Like, that's literally what they said. You have to, select her because she's a black woman. I remember this. People were saying this to Joe Biden. I remember this, and I was like, yo, what are you saying? Like, that doesn't mean anything to me that he has to get a black woman. Like, I don't care. Because at the time, I was still like in the middle. I didn't know anything, like I hadn't done my full research, but I said I was going to do my full research. And I was like, what is this? I don't care. Can the person do the job? Furthermore, this was the same woman who was saying she was Indian when she ran in the primaries. What are we talking about? For real, though. Like, how does that affect the American person? How does that stop us from going to war? Right? Like, nobody's talking about this stuff. The first thing I think Americans would want to hear from their campaign, from their candidates, is how we will stop war. Trump used to talk like this, but he doesn't talk like this anymore. So this is why, for me, it's just all become so disingenuous again.
The Democrats. And that's not going to bode well when it comes to the policies that people need to see to make a difference in America. Nobody I know is supporting Democrats now because Kamala Harris is in position of power.
Okay, well,
Destiny,
Elon Musk.
See, he's doing it right there.
Hang on. I have a specific question. Elon Musk actually reposted on X a doctored video featuring Kamala Harris. Her voice had been doctored by AI. Let's take a look at the clip first of all.
I, Kamala Harris, and your Democrat candidate for president, because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility of debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist.
Now, a number of issues from that. One is on one level.
By the way, guys, if you like these videos that I make, please don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit subscribe, please, and the notification bell.
It's just quite funny. It's a joke. It's a parody. But secondly, that video has now been seen 128 million times on Elon Musk's X account. He said, "This is amazing," with a laughing emoji. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, told Musk to take it down, to which Musk replied, "I checked with renowned world authority, Professor Sugon these nuts." And he's,
First of all, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. That is peak Elon Musk. That's hilarious.
said parody is legal in America. Elon Musk's response. Destiny, you're not laughing. Did you not find any of this funny?
Just to keep in mind, no, at this point, no, I'm sorry. Just to keep in mind, okay? Files were released, there was exactly one person from one administration that literally sent in a request for a tweet to be removed from a comedian lady because she called Trump a pussy ass bitch. And that was Donald Trump. That is the only time we've seen a personal request for a tweet to be removed because they were unhappy with the language that was being used. That came from Donald Trump. So to turn around and be like, oh, it's so funny when they make fun of our side. Meanwhile, you got a guy who's talking about imprisoning Americans for burning the flag. Crazy. I thought Republicans were all about freedom of speech and the First Amendment. I just think that's absolutely hilarious. Also, I think it is very funny that Republicans and conservatives in general, the people of Pizzagate and QAnon and all these crazy conspiracies, have in real time, this is like the conservative wet dream conspiracy. You have the richest man in the world from another country who bought the largest social media platform for media news distribution. He made it private. He took it private, doesn't do reporting on anything anymore, and is now openly reposting AI deepfake images of left-wing candidates. Like, holy shit. It's like everything they accused George Soros of doing, except it's actually out in the open.
I mean, he's making a bit of a point. It's not about it being a conspiracy. There are people who talk about this, but the people who talk about how the technocrats, if you will, have all aligned with Trump, also the neocons. I mean, really the Republican Party is looking like the back to, you know, the Bush Cheney days a little bit. You know, it's kind of giving me that feel. It is what it is. But he is making a point. But the person who talks about this is like Nick Fuentes, but nobody, we can't talk about Nick Fuentes, right? So therefore it's like, and Destiny wouldn't say that he's talking about it, so Destiny's still a hypocrite. I mean, he's going out of his way to say that this is a George Soros thing, but they all have a line with Donald Trump. But at the same time, the left has gone nuts. Like, I mean, not to be funny, like if we were in this real theater, we will say that the last 3 years under Joe Biden have not been great, especially Kamala Harris. I mean, the border is out of control. Now, all of a sudden, we don't hear about it no more. That's how I know everybody's working together, because Fox News isn't talking about the border anymore. Like, I think they just should still talk about the border. They don't, I mean, it's just like, whatever, right? Nobody's talking about the impending war that's coming up. It is what it is, right? But under the Biden administration, a lot of people don't have the same kind of money in their pockets. Our borders are wide open. We are facing war in 3 different places. I mean, literally in the imminent war right now in the Middle East again, so. But again, I feel like it's both sides now. It's just, when you see this, it's both sides. And it's like we're arguing the same things. But the thing about Destiny, and I have a clip I want to share with him arguing with Suleiman Ahmed about what happened October 7th and stuff. I will say he's a good debater, but he doesn't really always bring the facts, but he just talks really, really fast. So you guys want to check that out.
Should be no problem with it. We've seen it. These same people who were crying about identity politics are the same people who are literally crying about anti-Semitism. You basically got the U.S. government saying that anti-Semitism is occurring when hardly any anti-Semitism has occurred in the universities. Again, many of those claims were debunked. What they really don't want, and they've said it and they proved it by the bill that was sent to the House of Congress, they don't want you to call out the state of Israel, because as soon as you call out that state, they're going to be exposed. So that's anti-Semitism. You can't call out the Zionist control of America and Britain, because again, that's going to be anti-Semitism. And what they've done as well with anti-Semitism, they made the parameters so broad that anything can be anti-Semitism. So, for example, now, and these are the same people who used to cry about identity politics when it comes to racism, when it comes to Islamophobia, when it comes to these various other things. So, yeah, anti-Semitism has been used to end free speech. They did it in certain European countries when it was denial of the Holocaust. Why isn't an individual able to have free speech and deny it? And then they did that in the United States. You guys had about, as I believe, 32 states that don't even let you freely take part in BDS, which is boycotting Israel. This is the level of propaganda that occurs. And now the university protests have been shut down based on these false accusations of anti-Semitism. You see people being banned on Twitter for this. Elon Musk, right? Twitter is the most free speech platform. And yet he's banned from the river to the sea because it's a call for genocide, when it clearly isn't. It's interpretation. One side it says it is, one side it says it isn't. And it's not even against the law. And yet they made that into illegal. Just based on anti-Semitism, they've made it illegal to say that they're attacking the fact that Christ is saying Christ is king is anti-Semitic. They want to edit the Bible. They want to basically make it so that anyone who calls out this Zionist terrorist regime, you basically have a scenario where you're basically given these false accusations of anti-Semitism. I say, stop that. Allow free speech in a country where the First Amendment was created, where they allowed free speech. They're destroying the very country, as he said, the best country for a reason, but now it no longer is going to be.
Okay, Destiny, turn it to you.
So we'll just listen to what Destiny is going to say. Sometimes Destiny's good at debating. These type of things that are happening right now are things that clash of ideas, if you will, debates that are happening, but debates that people are trying to shut down. And again, in America, we don't want to shut down debate. We want to have free speech. First Amendment is very much important.